Hello, a very warm welcome to the Teacher Educator strand of our events marking World Teachers' Day. Great that you are with us. Nice to be with you too. My name's John Shackleton. I work for the British Council. I look after our work in support of teacher educators around the world. We've got a great program lined up for you today. We hope you will be able to stay with us for the whole session. We've got some housekeeping arrangements just to talk about first. And while I'm doing that, if you could give us a shout out. So using the Q&A box, if you could say who you are and where you're from, that would be great if you could do that now. So housekeeping then. So please, the webinar session is being recorded. Please, as I was saying, put your questions and comments in the Q&A box and we will get to them during the course of the sessions. Obviously, please be respectful, so keep your comments to a level that shows respect and won't offend anybody, of course. And we've got a few details as well about what happens. Okay, so if you just have a quick look at that while you're giving us the shout out. Davide, hello. Just looking now. Hello to Jordan. Burma, Myanmar, hello. Hi there. Hello, Pakistan, Libya, Indonesia, Cambodia. Very warm welcome. Okay, then. So I think we're ready to begin. What I'm going to do is talk a little bit about the session, or the sessions this morning as a whole. So I'm going to talk a little bit about teacher educator roles at the beginning, so that it's clear who it is that we're talking about. That's important, isn't it? Obviously. Then we're going to have a conversation and discussion around career and learning pathways for teachers, and that teacher educators rather. And then we're going to have a look at some example professional development opportunities, and then take a more detailed look at something that we're developing that's coming out soon, a MOOC for teacher educators. And then we're going to finish with some key principles of planning CPD for teachers. So overall, what we're trying to do is we're trying to really identify what it is that a teacher educator does and why their role is important. We'll look at career and learning pathways through examples of experienced teacher educators. Look specifically at what kinds of opportunities there are available for teacher educators to develop professionally. Closer look at one in detail, a MOOC. And then we're going to finish with thinking a little bit about how you plan, therefore, CPD for teachers. So as we go through, please put your comments and questions in the Q&A, and I will do my best to make sure that we get to them and that we get the opinions and answers to your questions from our guests today. Okay, so in terms of role then, I've just picked out a few examples. So if you could have a look at that slide there, have a look at kinds of things that teacher educators do. Maybe you see yourselves in one of these roles or a number of these roles. And I think that's my first point then, really, that what teacher educators do is quite varied. So when you're thinking about the kinds of professional development opportunities that you might need to pursue, thinking about the kind of career that you'd like to pursue, then there's lots and lots of things which are available out there. The ultimate question is what it is that you're currently doing, what is your role, and how do you want to get better in that role? How do you want to develop your career as a teacher educator? And that is what we're going to be talking about throughout the sessions today. So that's a little bit about what teacher educators can do. My next point that I want to make loud and clear is that our contribution as teacher educators is desperately important. You know, if we're saying, as you can see from that quote, that, you know, an effective education system depends on the quality of the teacher, well, clearly then the people that are involved in helping teachers to develop that quality, teacher educators, are also absolutely key to the process. And part of setting the scene, I'm talking a little bit about role and importance of teacher educators. I just want to say a little bit about the kinds of competences then that we think teacher educators should have. So what kinds of skills and understanding is it that they're hoping to attain through learning pathways they're hoping to develop throughout their careers? The kinds of skills, competences, and understanding that will really help teachers to become the best that they can be. And at the British Council, as many of you may well know, we have a CPD framework for teacher educators, which describes the kind of skills, understanding, levels of competence that we believe are important for teacher educators. I'm not going to go through it in any great detail. I just want to put it in front of you so that for anybody that hasn't seen it, you know what it is. And so it looks like this. It's green. It's got professional practices around the outside of the wheel. And it divides those professional practices into 3 different areas. Knowledge, so what kind of knowledge is it that teacher educators need? What kind of skills they need? And importantly, especially in the context of talking about career and learning pathways, approaches to professional development that teacher educators need as well. Okay. So those 3 main areas of professional practices are further broken down into these areas here. So just as an example, we think that an effective teacher educator knows the subject. What's the subject? Well, the subject is training teachers. The subject is knowledge about adult learning theories, because they're working with adults and not children. Evaluating teacher competence, if you can see that in the skills section, just as an example. So what we believe is that it's very important that teacher educators have the skills to, for example, observe and evaluate a teacher, as an example, to look at what a teacher is doing and get them to reflect on their practice. These are important skills in developing teachers so that they're able to deliver that quality experience in the classroom. Okay, so really that's all I wanted to say in this opening section, just to set the scene, right? To make sure that we know what it is that we're talking about. So we're talking about career and learning pathways and professional development opportunities for teacher educators. We talked a little bit about role. So what is it that teacher educators do? Because that's fundamental to developing a career, a learning pathway. You need to know what you do, if you're going to get better at it. We talked a little bit about the importance of teacher educators, that they're key to helping teachers reach those levels of quality that education systems depend on. And we talked a little bit about a tool, a framework that we use called the CPD framework for teacher educators here at the British Council, that defines and describes the kinds of skills, the kinds of knowledge, the kind of approaches to professional development that we believe are important for helping teacher educators develop professionally. Okay, so I'm just going to pause a second just to have a look at questions and comments that have come in. I'll just move that a little bit so I can see it. Okay, there's a really interesting question from Amir. Okay, we're recording this session. We're going to come back to questions in more detail, but Amir asked the question, how could we approach a situation effectively where a new teacher does not appreciate opportunities for professional development or show sufficient respect to the teacher educator? That is an absolutely fantastic question, right? That's got multiple answers. We have a webinar program every month, and in November, we're going to be talking about how do teacher educators support early career teachers. So some of the strategies and techniques that more experienced colleagues or teacher educators or school-based mentors, for example, they can do to help support those early career teachers. And the second part of Amir's question, which is, I suppose, to do with relations of power, to some extent, the credibility of the teacher educator, the outlook and attitudes and beliefs that a new teacher has about themselves or about the profession that they're just entering. There isn't clearly, Amir, an answer to either parts of those of that question that's nice and succinct and clear, but in there somewhere is something to do with trying very hard to understand what it is that a teacher believes in, what motivates them, what their attitudes are, and to have an approach, in my opinion, which is non-judgmental. So I think those two things, understanding the person in front of you, what they believe, what their motivations are, and having an approach which is non-judgmental, I think is a starting point for reflecting on how you can support teachers who are perhaps not particularly motivated at the beginning of their careers, etc. Okay, thank you very much indeed, Amir. That's a really, really brilliant question and comment to get us started. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to have a slight pause, right, where the next speakers, and I'll be very happy to introduce Shirin Soyes and Celestine Pujigiro Gasigua. I always have problems pronouncing his name. I'm sure he'll put us right when he gets into the session. Slight pause, okay? And then we'll be coming back in exactly 1 minute. Okay, so don't go away. We'll be back in 1 minute. Thank you.